So the Fibers and Material Studies Department is located in our Sharp building. Our Sharp building, it's on the 9th and 10th floors of that building. Is where we host some of our first year student program department. So like your core and research classes. Fibers and Material Study is here, as well as VisCom. Here we're looking at our weaving studios, or some like to call the loom room. You do have to get authorized to use this space, and you would do that in your weaving studio courses and classes. The weaving stations are I would say first come, first serve, so there will never be more students in the classroom than there are weaving stations available. In the Fibers department, they do also provide you with threads to kind of experiment with as you're learning new techniques. As you move on into your bigger and larger projects, it is encouraged that you bring the threads and yarn that you'd like to work with, or if there's any specific colors or materials that aren't yarn that you want to weave into your fabrics, you have to bring that as well. In the Fibers and Material Studies department, they do encourage that you use outside resources and uncommon resources to create your artwork. They want you to explore and not just stick in the realm of like yarn and like cotton fibers. You can experiment with all types of things. In the back of this room, we have our Jacquard Looms. Jacquard Looms are pretty much digital looming systems. They don't do all the work for you, but what they do is kind of guide your process. So you utilize a Jacquard loom when you want to upload an image into your fabric. So different from embroidery, which happens on top of the fabric and material, the Jacquard loom weaves the image within the material. So that's in the back of this room. And I don't know if maybe you can see my mouse in this area, like where I'm circling. These things are the Jacquard looms. And you do have to take a separate class in order to get authorized on that equipment. And then on the second floor, well, on the 9th floor of the Fibers and Material Studies department is where we have like our screen printing classes, dyeing classes, heat press classes, and they also have like a freehand embroidery class that happens here as well. In those classes, again, the materials that you need to kind of experiment with are provided to you. And then once you go into your bigger projects, you do have to bring those materials. In the screen printing class, they do provide the ink. Students are just required to bring their own screen. The only color ink they do not provide is white, because it's a classroom setting and they want everyone to they don't want it to get dirty. They want it to stay white. So you don't use that in a classroom setting. As for the dyeing classes, we have both natural and artificial dyeing classes. I'm currently in the artificial dye class, and I've had a lot of fun with it. We're making like a dye recipe book where we're pretty much just mixing different colors that we like to color match objects that we found in real life, or just creating like a color wheel that are based off things that we're working in our concepts and different projects. So it was really fun and interesting. I would suggest that class. And then the natural dye class is also really cool. They use things like avocado pits and indigo leaves in order to make natural dyes. We do also have a garden in our Columbus building that you can be a part of and join that club in order to like tend for the garden and grow things. But they use the materials there as well in the natural dye classes. Also in the Fibers department, we have a resource center. The resource center pretty much is a library with books, how-to manuals, as well as like examples of work from all around the world. So we'll have a resource library for any department that's really not like super heavily represented in the museum. So outside of your like traditional fine arts. So our fashion department, our visual communication department, Fibers department, all those departments have their own resource library for students to study from. All right, and that concludes the tour of the Fibers and Material Studies department. I will bring it back to Casey now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blair. And thank you for joining us for the virtual tour of the Fiber and Material Studies department. There's some information on this screen that you can utilize to contact us if you have any questions or you want to learn more about the school or about the Fibers department. You can call our admissions office at 312-629-6100 or email us at ugadmis@saic.edu. And then to learn more about the school or about the Fiber and Material Studies department, you can visit our website, saic.edu. And then for any questions specifically related to admissions or to learn more about the application process, you can view saic.edu/admission. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you to Blair, and have a great day.